The last couple of days for you. And Steve said you watched the game at home. I'm sure that was tough. How much did you appreciate how the team fought and just kind of your reaction the last couple of days?
Last couple of days for me been great. It's always great after a win. It was very great to see the guys fight and come together the way they did and go out there and win the game. You know, our message before that was the only objective was to win the game, not anything that's going on around that. Guys that's on the floor go out and execute the game plan to win the game, and they executed the game plan to T. And so it was really beautiful to watch and very refreshing. You know, we've never been down 0-2. So to see how, to see guys still respond no matter what the circumstances are, but you're back against the wall, to see guys still respond like that, it was beautiful to watch.
Draymond, I know you addressed this a little bit on your podcast, but just what was your emotion when you got the news that you were suspended? How surprised, how stunned, how angry were you?
I think, no disrespect to you, Tim, but I think my feelings about it is irrelevant. My sentiments on it is I strongly agree with Doc Rivers. I think he said it better than anybody could have said it, but as far as being suspended or the game goes, we won. So anything that happened around that or how I felt or how anyone felt, we channeled it the right way. And, you channel that energy the right way. I think that's the most important thing. And so a lot of credit to my teammates. Like I said, just handling that news and the adversity and standing on it. We pride ourselves on not being front runners. It's a lot of front runner stuff that goes on in this league. And we pride ourselves on not being that. When the going gets tough, we get tougher. And guys did that, and that's all that really matters, honestly.
Dre, you talked about him on the pod a little bit, but when you saw like Moses Moody, and you've seen him do it before in last year's playoffs, but what is it you think makes him able to step in like after not playing and still play such a flawless game?
He prepares like he's going to play every game. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Moses Moody is probably the most professional guy I've ever played with next to Kevon Looney. And the way he approaches everything is like a 10-year vet, a 15-year vet. Approaches working on his body, working on his game, putting the extra shots up, getting the extra lifts in when there is no scheduled lifts, doing the extra yoga and the different things that he's doing to make sure his body is ready to go. And so I was not surprised by him answering the bell. Every time his number's been called, he's answered the bell. But he prepares that way. When you put the preparation, when you put the preparation in, you usually see good results. And, every now and then it don't go your way, but it's going to go your way more often than not. And so just to know, how he goes about his business and to see him get rewarded, I thought that was huge.
Draymond, it must have been super surreal to sit and watch your team and be at home. Can you just describe a little bit your emotions while you were actually watching the game? Were you by yourself? Were you with your wife? And was it similar at all to what it was like in 2016?
No, it's a different feeling. In 2016, we were up 3-1. So whether you lose that game or not, you have more. Being down 2, you have more, whether you lose or not, but it's different. And so I think for us, just being in a totally different position, like I said, being in a dogfight and not being able to participate, that's tough. Not from suspension. Like I said, I've been suspended from Game 5 of the NBA Finals. There's never a suspension that would bother me. There's no game that could compare to that. So as far as my personal feeling about a suspension, it's neither here nor there. Like, it doesn't move me one way or another. But knowing that you're in the midst of a dogfight, like you come here every single day all year and prepare for battle with these guys. And then to know you're in the battle, your back's against the wall, and to not be there for them, that's a letdown. So for me, that was it. It's just not being in a dogfight. But as far as how I felt about suspension, really, I'll get suspended again at some point. Like, it is what it is.
Draymond, going back to the first two games, you guys struggled a bit offensively when you and Looney were on the court together. What have you noticed about how the Kings are defending you when you guys are on the court together?
I think when we were on the court together last game, we were up 29-20. Then we, so I think it's good theory, but I don't think it actually has played out that way. But I think. The way we played, we moved the ball, we took care of the ball, we made great decisions and didn't force anything, didn't allow their pressure to bother us. We handled their pressure really well. And, when you do that, I think we've been pretty good offensively all season. All series. I know going into last game, we were shooting 64% from two. Going into game 3. I'm not sure what that is after game 3, but that's pretty darn good to shoot 64% from 2. And so I don't think our offense per se is what was killing us. I think our turnovers were killing us. I think giving up offensive rebounds on the defensive end were killing us. But as far as just our half-court offense, I think our half-court offense has been strong all series.
Dre, you guys had a home court advantage in Oakland that was second to none. Now watching on TV, you might have a little bit of a different perspective on top of last year's playoff run, but how does this place compare to the old place?
I don't really get caught up into comparing the two places, two totally different places. Oracle just had a totally different vibe. And you feel that no matter what arena you're in. When you're in Los Angeles, the vibe in the arena when you play the Clippers and when you play the Lakers are two totally different vibes. And so you move a team entire different city, it's going to be a completely different vibe. You can put the same cast of characters in there, but it's just a different vibe. It's a different gym. And so we don't really get too caught up into that. You embrace it. I think we've created a home court advantage here. We've been very stellar here over the last couple of years, and teams have struggled to come in here and win. So I think we've created an advantage here, and that's what we like to lean into and focus on. But I don't really get off into comparing the two places because it's not apples to apples. It's totally different, and you figure that out and you build it. But I think the home court advantage at Oracle was built over 50 years, like 40 years or whatever it was, and that was built over time. We've been here 4 years. It takes time to build that, and saying that teams struggle to come here and win. So I think we've done a pretty good job of it.
Draymond, on your podcast, you said that Steph was a master at work last game. I just want to see if you could expand on that a little bit, but also go back in time as far as when was the first time that you witnessed him being that master at work in a game?
I think we've seen it over the course of the years, right? Like you've seen it in spurts. I've even said this before publicly. I think in 2021, you really saw him take that next step and be able to dominate when he wants to dominate. And, so many people got mad when I said that. Oh, he's so disrespectful to Steph. But what about the respect of saying he's getting better? That's what we all strive for at the end of the day, is to continue to get better and add things to your game. And it's like in 2021, he took that next step of just picking and choosing his spots, knowing when to dominate, knowing when I need to dominate off the ball, when I need to dominate on the ball, just figuring out different things. And then also in playing this game together for so long, there's always constant communication. What do you see here? What do you see there? What are you thinking about this? And just the dialogue that he has, it's totally different than it used to be. And I think to to pinpoint when exactly was the first time is tough, but I know in those finals last year, it was that. It was what we saw the other night. It was, I won't get sped up. This is what I want to get no matter what's going on the floor. I'm going to make sure I get to that. And that was, it was special to watch because he dominated the game in every facet. And it was total control. You can just tell his intent on everything. It was very loud. It was loud and clear. Okay, I'm not getting to that. This is what I want to get to, and there's really nothing no one can do about that. And I thought it was great to watch.
Somewhat random here, but they've talked about how you guys know the Kings so well. The Kings know you so well with Mike Brown, etc. But Leandro Barbosa is one of those guys too, where you played with him. He was on the coaching staff. Just wanted to see if you have a favorite memory or story of LB as well.
Yeah, I don't really give a damn about no memory with Leandro Barbosa right now. We won championship together, or 2, 3, something like that. I don't know. But who cares?
Draymond, Kings have a historically great offense, #1 in the league, best rating and all of that. And they've only been held under 100 points like a couple times all season. To see your team do it without you and Gary, what was that like, and how do you think they were able to do that?
#1, just the attention to detail. Everybody being locked in, rebounding the basketball. We didn't give them a ton of second chance points like we did in the previous games, and yet I don't know what the numbers were. Maybe they were the same, but it just didn't feel that way. I didn't look at the numbers.
The same.
I mean, for me, I just know I'm watching it, and what you felt is it didn't feel like we gave up the same second chance points that we have been giving up. I didn't go back afterwards to check the numbers because I didn't really think it mattered. Like, you can feel it. You can feel meeting the force that they had with force. And so I think that was a huge part of it, not allowing them to get to the paint at will, because when you allow teams to get to the paint at will, your defense is broken down, and now it's a lot tougher to rebound when your defense is broken down. And so I think they did a great job. It was a total team effort. We were great at the point of attack and watching that game, whether it was Dante on the ball, Wiggs on the ball, Jordan on the ball, Steph, whoever it was, Clay. We were great at the point of attack. And when you're great at the point of attack, it takes care of a lot of issues on the defensive side, and I think we did a very good job of that in that game.
Draymond, Kavan told us last week that not everybody knows what he does. I mean, the communication, the behind the scenes. And Dante just credited Kavan for the communication the other night. And as a big man, Loon said that is one of his primary jobs. What did you see him take it to just another level the other night without you? And how proud are you of that performance?
Huge. To see a guy that didn't used to say a word, I mean a single word, dominate through communication, like, you just have to appreciate the growth, because, man, Loon came here, Loon was a mute, would not talk. And to see him grow into his own and figure that out, it is very much so the reason he's become the player that he's become. He is a defensive anchor. And, when we're out there on the court together, then you have 2. One of us not out there, you have 1. And it's on that other guy to step up and take it up another notch. He took it up several notches. And you can feel that. You could see the comfort in the guys who were guarding the ball, knowing that, they could hear Loon's voice and he was behind them. And obviously he did the work with, with his rebounding and playmaking. He was absolutely incredible. So I think that voice is, that voice that, Dante's credit is, 7-8 years of the work that he's put in to get comfortable with that voice and know everything that's going on the floor. And seeing all the pictures develop and being a step ahead of everyone to communicate those things and make sure that guys know at the end of the day, if all else fails, I have him there behind me, and he can clean up a lot of mistakes. But just having that voice and communication is huge. It's a key for us.
Did he help keep this group together back in training camp? When things were going on, and
of course, he's always a stabilizing force. Just someone who's right here every day. When you need guys like that, that's just right there every day, that can kind of fill out things because they're just in that same space. And, that's Looney. He's very even keeled. Very rarely do you see him get upset. Very rarely do you see him get sad. It's just very even keeled, and, keeps a good gauge of everything going on around him.
Can I go back to Doc Rivers saying that the league set a dangerous precedent with your suspension, or even what Joe Dumars was explaining, where had he been evaluating a different player, maybe that player wouldn't have gotten a suspension. So looking forward, as far as this precedent, did the league just accidentally create the Draymond rule when it comes to guys if they feel like these guys have a history or a reputation?
They created Draymond rules before them don't work. Here I am, still sitting here. Still winning. They created those rules before. They didn't work. They still don't work. So maybe they did. But Draymond won't be moved by no Draymond rules. I will continue to play the game how I play the game, operate how I operate, be exactly who I am, because that leads to winning. If I was losing, they wouldn't be creating Draymond rules. So as long as they're creating Draymond rules, that means we're winning. And that's great. They can create as many Draymond rules as they want. That's beautiful. But it doesn't change Draymond. So it is what it is.
Dre, after the game, Steph on TNT basically said, this was wrong, and, said we got your back. Obviously, you guys were determined to look ahead and not talk about it. But what were your teammates saying to you? What was their message to you while you waited, and what did it mean, whatever they said?
Their message to me was that they like you said, they got my back. It was that very message. My message to them was none of it matters. What matters is the task at hand. And, to know and feel that they have your back, I think is huge, right? Like, it's a great feeling. But for me, my focus was being as involved as I could be, regardless of what that is. All right, can go play. There's several ways to get involved. And so I wanted to be involved in every way that I could be involved for them, as I know they had my back and they were involved in every way that they could be involved for me. And, it's huge. I think it's huge for this team. This team has been building all year, and you come to a situation like that where it can go right or left. And you had every guy in there making sure it went right. And that was huge.
Is there like a moment between you and Steph or you and Clay, or is it one of those what's understood doesn't need to be said type things?
We all talked, right? We all had conversations, but we've been through the rodeo quite a bit. We've seen everything that you can see. And so you understand it, and more so than talking to Steph and Clay it's everyone else, making sure everyone else understands. Like me, Clay, and Steph have been through everything. We can look at each other and start talking about something and be saying the same exact words. Like, been through everything you could possibly go through. But it's making sure everyone else understands and is ready for the moments. And every guy that went in there stepped up to the challenge. And that is the true definition of champions. That is knowing that you have good leadership around, because it's not just one guy that can make that happen. Like, it's a cast of guys that's making sure everyone's ready. And so I think, for us three, it's not a ton that need to be explained. We talked through a lot of game plan stuff, a lot of things that we knew we needed to do, but other than that, we know the task at hand.
Yeah, as a defense-first guy, I'm wondering if Game 3, what you guys did on Game 3, did it encourage you or inspire you, or a little bit of both, or neither?
No, it's definitely encouraging. Just to see the way guys defended. And in saying that, I think we've been defending well. We've just hurt ourselves a lot. And so knowing that we've done the job defensively for the most part this series, and we clean the things up that we knew we needed to clean up, we give ourselves a much better chance at winning. And we did that, and it was evident, that those are the things that need to be done to help us win these games. So, yeah, it's definitely encouraging. And now you see that, and you're like, all right, I can come and do this. I can do that to help, these things and clean up, even more. So I think it's very, very encouraging.